Again in this online series of lectures. As I told you in my previous lecture that in next class we will start our poetry, means poetry section. So you all are familiar with the first poem that is a part of your syllabus, that is part of your content or book, that is Seven Edges of Man by William Shakespeare, one of the most elegant writer of dramatist of English literature. He has written this about human and human's life. So without further delay, let me tell you something about Act 2, Scene 5, Scene 7. So in this poem, what Shakespeare has defined, what Shakespeare has told about humans' life and their particularly their philosophy of human life and this world. According to William Shakespeare, the philosophy of the poem is quite simple. He has said that all the world is a stage. So means world is a stage according to Shakespeare, and then humans are merely players. Humans are players, are actors, you may call them. Okay. And the third point that he is interested, that is about the life. The life of human beings is a drama. Okay. So the entire poem will surround these three things, these a school of thought that William Shakespeare has defined in his speech, as speech from As You Like It. Basically, this poem is taken from his famous comedy that was written by Shakespeare, a speech from As You Like It. As we all know that the first part of this speech is in first year poetry, that is Under the Greenwood Tree, and then the second part of this is Seven Edges of Man by William Shakespeare. So before moving further towards reading of this poem, make it clear that the philosophy of the poem is simple. He has talked about world, and he has narrated that world is a stage. According to him, according to his idea, that the entire world is a stage where we all humans play our part. It means we are players. Okay, we are actors. And he has quoted life as a drama. Okay, he has compared human's life with the drama. So moving further, let me make it clear. I hope that you all have a book with you. As I told you in previous class, in previous lecture, that it is really important to have book in your hands, because this is part of your syllabus, and without knowing the actual textual lines of this poetry, you won't be able to understand the philosophy and the notion of this poem that was defined by that is defined by William Shakespeare. So the Seven Ages of Man, a speech from As You Like It by William Shakespeare. What he has said, the very first line of his poem is, all the world is a stage. According to him, he considers, he believes that the entire world is like a stage. As we all know that if there are players, if there are actors, and they perform drama, or they take their part in dramas, they perform their roles on a stage. Okay, so William Shakespeare, as he was a dramatist, okay, as he was a dramatist, so to him life was a drama, and all the men and women are merely players. And the world that he talked about, that it is a stage where we all come and play our part, nothing else. So the very first line of this poem is, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. Now, if you talk about the philosophy of William Shakespeare's poem, it is obvious that as a Muslim, we all do believe that yes, this world is temporary world. Okay, this world is not a permanent place where we will remain alive forever. We all are here for a certain period. We all are here for a specific period of time. Everybody comes here and plays his part, and then he simply leaves this world. Okay, so this system of living and dying of human beings is going on since very beginning. As this world was created by Allah Almighty, this system was started since then, and it will go on till the day of judgment. So this is our belief as a Muslim. But as he was a dramatist, as he was a writer, he thought the same idea. He had the same idea about human world and the life of humans. Okay, it is really uh, it is really interesting poem, and one of the best poem that he ever wrote. And let me tell you one thing more that is again interesting one. As I told you in a previous lecture about Shakespeare, that William Shakespeare is not the poet of one age. Rather, he is a poet of all ages. Now, question arises here that how to prove this statement. If we are claiming that yes, he was a poet of all ages, or he is a poet of all ages, it means he represents every period, every age of human beings. Then how to prove this statement? Okay, so this one is a fine example in order to define, or in order to answer that statement, or in order to support that statement that William Shakespeare is a poet of all ages. We have a nice example of this poem. How? This poem was written long ago by Shakespeare at his, when he was alive. So how many years have been passed? Centuries have been passed. But still, this is a part of our syllabus, and this is still, we are teaching this to our new generation, and this is the philosophy that still can be fixed for human beings. It is not going to change anymore. Why? Because the world is the same that Shakespeare saw, human beings are the same that Shakespeare talked about, and the life that we are spending is the same that Shakespeare spent. Okay, so rather he was interested in human's life and the world in which we are living, and the life that Allah Almighty has given to us. Okay, life is given to us by Allah Almighty just for once. It is obvious, it is quite clear that nobody is allowed to have a two times life. Every individual will have a chance of living his or her life just for once. Okay, so all the world's a stage, this entire world. Okay, this entire world is a stage for Shakespeare. He believed, he thought, and he claims that this is, according to his opinion, that this world is a stage. And then all the men and women are only players. Merely means only players. We all are players. We have been given this stage. The world is given to us. This is a stage for us. And we are here, players are here to perform their certain roles. Okay? And most importantly, Shakespeare has divided human's life into 7 different stages or parts, you may call it. So the very first idea that he has shared with us is about the birth and death of human beings. What he says, let's have a look. They have their exits and their entrances. What he means when he says we all have exits and entrances. Okay? You all are familiar, and let me tell you the philosophy of these two particular concepts and what Shakespeare means. Entrances means the births of human beings, okay, and exits means their deaths. Got it? He was interested in these two terms, entrances, exits, and entrances. It means we all have births and deaths, and that is permanent. Okay, so all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. Now, the philosophy of Shakespeare starts from this line that in particular life of a man, an individual man or woman plays many parts in his or her life. The first stage that Shakespeare has defined that his acts being seven ages. Man plays many parts, man plays many actions, and his actions or his acts are divided into seven different parts or stages. At first, the initial stage of human being is what? At first, the infant. When he is a child, when he is an innocent child, okay, when he is an infant, he is an innocent child, he is totally dependent on others. How? Shakespeare has defined that his acts being seven ages. At first the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. So Shakespeare has defined this idea and had said that when a man is born, he is totally dependent on others. The first stage of man or woman is infant, innocent child. Okay? Innocent child. When he is dependent on others, he can't do anything by himself. So, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, when he cries, when he vomits in the arms of nurse. Okay, the meaning of these two archaic words, mewling means to cry. Have you ever seen when a child takes birth, he starts crying? Okay, and why he starts crying? Because he sees this world for the very first time. Before his arrival in this world, he lives nearly 9 months or 10 months in abdomen of her mother. Okay, so before coming to this practical world, the world of the world for that child was his her mother's abdomen, where he used to live nearly for 9 months or 10 months. So when first time he arrives here, he starts crying. Why? Because he sees new things, new objects. He sees human beings. Okay, so that's why he starts crying and then vomiting in nurse's arms. Okay, this is a simple initial stage of a human being that he starts with. Then the whining schoolboy with his satchel. The second stage of man starts when he starts going to school. Satchel is an archaic word which means a bag. Okay, most of the time we have seen that whenever you get your child enrolled in a school, He is not willing to go there. Why? Because he is a school going boy, a little boy who has never seen before a schooling system. We emphasize, we compel him to go towards a school. We give him a school bag that you may start your schooling. But what we saw, or what we witnessed, that at the initial stage, he or she, as a child, is not willing to go there. He himself or herself is not willing to attend school. Okay, so then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face creeping like snail. Have you ever seen an insect that usually creeps slowly and gradually? He creeps towards his destiny. So the same is the case with a school going boy. Shakespeare has compared a boy who is going to school, or school going boy, with an insect that creeps, okay, slowly and gradually, unwilling to school, not ready to go there. So, and shining morning face, creeping like snail, unwillingly to school, and then the lover. The third stage of a man is a lover. Second stage is the school going boy or schoolboy who is unwilling to go there. Okay. And the third stage of man is lover. So Shakespeare is interested in this stage because in third age of a man he talks about his emotions. A man usually becomes emotional for her beloved. Okay, he falls in love and he sings sad songs, sad ballads for her beloved. Okay, so and then the lover, sighing like a furnace, a fire comes out from his body, a fire comes out from his soul. He is full of emotions. Why? Because that is the third stage of a man. When he sees everything seems to him beautiful, charming, gorgeous. Okay? So, and then the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad. Woeful ballad is a phrase that is used here, which means sad song. Okay? Made to his mistress, to whom he sings these uh, sad songs for his beloved. Okay, for his beloved, he sings awful or woeful ballads, sad songs. Made to his mistress, I brood, and then. So this in this stage, in this particular stage, he simply praises his beloved. As he is full of emotions, as he falls in love, he always tries to praise his beloved. That is a particular stage where every individual do this, and it is quite natural. It is quite natural. It happens with everybody. Okay, as human beings grows up, as they become teenagers, as they become young, it happens with everybody. No matter whether girl or a boy, man or woman, it happens with everybody. It is a natural phenomena. Okay, it is quite natural phenomena that at that stage, particularly when we become, teenager, at the age of nearly 16 or 17 years, we start loving someone. So Shakespeare has talked about the fourth stage, that is again an interesting stage, that is of a soldier. Then a soldier full of strange odds. According to William Shakespeare, the fourth stage of a man is soldier. Okay? when he is full of strange oaths, he is ready to sacrifice. For what? For his country, for his society. And let me tell you one thing, that soldiers are not only the ones who are ready to sacrifice their lives. According to the philosophy of Shakespeare, the fourth stage of a man is of soldier. It means he has talked about for every individual engaged in a particular field. Suppose doctors. Doctors are also, you may call them soldiers. In terms of what? In terms of serving the humanity. They serve, they serve the humanity. They render their services for the welfare of society. Engineers, they are also like soldiers. They also sacrifice, they give their services for the betterment of their world, for the betterment of their community and country. And same is the case with teacher. He is, willing to give his services for the betterment of new generation. He is also a kind of soldier. So the fourth age, the stage of man is a soldier full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard. Pard means a lion. Okay, pard is an archaic word as Shakespeare has used. It means, the synonym of pard is lion. Jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel. So at this stage, a man becomes quite quick in starting quarrels. Okay, he is jealous in his honor. He needs honor. He seeks honor. He sacrifices for honor. He simply tries to earn respect and honor. Okay, then seeking the bubble reputation, a reputation that is like a bubble. Have you ever seen a bubble? I hope so. So he simply tries to find out reputation, the respect, the honor in his society. He's simply fond of getting status in his, society. Even in the Kenyon's mouth, he simply never cares about the Kenyans. Means weapons. Kenyans means weapons which are used in war. Okay, especially armed weapons. Kenyan is a archaic word again. Even in the Kenyon's mouth, and then the justice. The fifth stage of a human being starts when he becomes as a justice. Justice means what? A man who always take care of his family members. Okay, he becomes quite mature in that stage. In fair round belly with a good capion lined. So simply, he is like you know a, a line that is, simply you may call it a bird that we use to take care of that bird at our homes. Full of, so sorry, in fair round belly with a good capion lined with eyes severe and beard of formal cut. At this particular stage, when he is a justice, okay, formal cut of his hair, sorry, beard, okay. So this is the fifth stage of human being, full of wise saws and modern instances. As I told you earlier, as I mentioned, that in this particular stage, he becomes so wise. He becomes so wise and he starts giving examples, instances of full, wise sayings. Have you ever heard these sayings? If you have your parents, if you have your father at your home, you might have seen that whenever we do certain things immorally, or things, if child is involved or engaged in a kind of social evils, so his parents, especially father, starts giving him sayings. He starts quoting different sayings. Why? Because at that stage he has experienced many things. Okay, he has spent nearly 30 to 40 years of his life, or 45 years of his life. So he is aware of the things. He is aware of the you know con- common things of this world. That's why he starts giving sayings, tales, stories. He starts sharing stories which are quite, you may call it wise enough to change the mentality of your children. So at this particular stage, Shakespeare is saying that when a man comes to this stage, he becomes wise. He becomes, you may call it dignified, or mature enough, even simply you may call it intelligent in terms of uh, teaching to others. Okay, there are number of sayings in Sindhi. There are number of sayings in Urdu, in English and Urdu, which we use to tell out to our students. Suppose if you are a student, and most probably you all are at the stage of maybe third stage, or maybe second stage, as you consider yourself. But for me, you all are at third age. So we as a teachers used to give you suggestions. We used to give you advices. Okay? So full of wise sayings. Why? Because he do not want to see his or her child going in a wrong path. That's why he always gives uh, these sayings, shares his experiences with his children. So I think we are left with only 2 to 3 minutes. That's why we are stopping our lecture at the fifth stage, because it will be continued in next lecture, as we are unable to complete this. So let me recall what we have discussed. We started this poem, A Seven Ages of Man, Seven Ages of Man by William Shakespeare, which is taken from a speech from As You Like It, scene Act 2, scene 5. The philosophy of his poem is very simple. There are three things to remember, as I have told you earlier, that please do remember these three things, because Shakespeare is interested in these three things. Number one is, according to him, this world, this entire world is like a stage. If you have seen stages of where dramas are being performed, so according to him, this world is a stage. We all human beings, whether men or women, we all are only players. We have to play our part. We are actors. Okay? And the third thing that Shakespeare is interested in, that the life of human beings. He has compared and he has said that the life of human being is like a drama. Okay? A drama. Life is a drama. Okay? So, and dividing the stages of human being, he has said that the first stage of human being is infant, when he is innocent child, when he starts crying and puking in nurse's arms, when he vomits in the arms of nurse. Then the second stage, that is a school going boy who is unwilling to go, because he is quite new in this world, and he does not want to go by himself, but as a parents we compel him to go there. The third stage that he has talked about is a lover. The fourth stage is a soldier, and then the fifth one he has talked about as a justice. So I hope that you all have understood these five different stages of human being, which are defined by William Shakespeare, and the philosophy of this poem that I have discussed with you. Hopefully, we will continue this lecture on Tuesday, when we will talk about the sixth and seventh age of human life. And of course, we will be explaining it in more detail. And I will try my level best to expand these ideas in more depth and detail. Till that, thank you. Allah Hafiz. May Allah bless you all.